Welcome back, everyone, from Highland Meadows Golf Club in Sylvania. It is our annual visit with Toledo's own Jamie Farr at round number 4, the final round of the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic, and it is tremendous once again to welcome in Toledo's native son.
I'm all dry now.
Polar bear forever.
Oh yes, you got that right. That was nice. You should have gone and tried the pool. It was just wonderful.
I'm glad
yes,
you're going to take a dip.
No, I did already. Remember I told you.
Right, during the break.
During the break, it was wonderful.
It's amazing. You were able to work that out. All right, Jamie, you can't do an interview with Jamie Farr with at least touching on MASH.
Be happy to.
When you look back on MASH did what for Jamie Farr?
It saved me, literally. I've had so many ups and downs in my career, Lee. I've been very lucky, and every time I'd reach a certain point in my life when I thought this is the one that was going to take me to the next level, something would happen. Before, when I had been doing Blackboard Jungle, and then I got the Red Skelton Show, and I was up for all kinds of different TV series and movies and everything else, I got drafted. So then when I came back, I had a tough time getting back and getting established again. Couldn't even find an agent, and that's when Red Skelton saved me and put me under contract. Then I left Red because I just didn't want to be a hanger-on. I wanted to go out and do it. And then I had a struggle again, and thanks to Carl Reiner, I got a part on the Dick Van Dyke Show. But then after that, things didn't happen for me. So it was a constant struggle. Then I was so broke at one time that I used to go to church and pray to St. Jude, that was Danny Thomas's patron saint, to get a job. I mean, I was running out of unemployment, I was broke, I was dating my wife Joy at the time. And there was a movie, The Greatest Story Ever Told, that was being filmed, and I used to ask St. Jude, look, with my face, there's got to be something in that movie. So I called my agent, I finally got one. I says, can you get a part in this film for me, anything? Because I'm broke, I need some help. So he said, well, do you have any serious film? Because you're always known for comedy. And I had done a role on the movie that a polar bear, Toledo Woodwardite, who had written the script and also produced the show, called The Rebel with Nick Adams. And I'd done a serious role on that. So I got the film and took it over to George Stevens' studio in Culver City, and again prayed to St. Jude, there's got to be something in it for me. And then my agent called me, he said, Jamie, pick up your film, there's nothing in it for you. So I was really shattered by that. I went to St. Jude and I told them off, didn't light a candle, and then went home. Finally get a phone call and he said, Jamie, I don't know what happened. He said, Mr. Stevens' office called, they changed their mind. They want you to play one of the apostles. They want you to play Nathaniel Bartholomew. I have a 26-week guarantee at $400 a week. Go down tomorrow. Are you kidding? Wow, 26 weeks making a movie at $400 at that time? So he said, go in, get your wardrobe, and do the test. So I went in, did the wardrobe test and that, and I came back, and then they called again. And Meyer, Michigan, my agent, said, Jamie, it's deal still the same, 26 weeks at $400 a week, but they're not playing Nathaniel Bartholomew now. You're playing the Apostle Thaddeus. I said, oh, fantastic. So I called a friend of mine to tell him. I said, I'm playing this role, 26 weeks, $400. He says, who are you playing? I said, Thaddeus. He says, do you know what his full name is? I said, no. He says, it's St. Jude Thaddeus. I wound up playing the saint I was praying to. That saved me. Then after that, the phone didn't ring for a year. Joy and I are married. We had a little sofa in the house, a little furniture. She got a job, and I started doing things, some writing and everything else. Things were not going the greatest for me, and I'd done a show for Gene Reynolds. He was directing F Troop at Warner Brothers. He liked me. I played a stand-up comic Indian that the Hakawis do not, they reject, you know. He says, don't smoke signal us, we'll smoke signal you. You know, your act is that bad.
Corporal Agarn and tried to, the F Troop
F Troop was Forrest Tucker. Yeah, Larry Storch and Ken Berry. Yes. So Gene became the producer of MASH. And Larry Gelbart created this character, and he says, there's only one guy that can play this and get away with it. But he didn't tell me what the part was. They called my agent, and they said, just come on in. He said, we'll give you $250 for the day. For the day. So I came in there, I saw those high heels and the dress and that, and I thought, oh, I'm dressing with an actress. He says, no, put them on. I said, what kind of part is this? So I put them on, put the high heels on, wobbly bowed legs. He started laughing, took me onto the sound stage. All the craft services crew started laughing. The cast started laughing. They gave me my dialogue. I had like 4 or 5 lines in it. Everybody got hysterical in it, so they brought him back. They brought him back 5 times that year, so I did 6 shows at $250 a day. The show got picked up, and they brought me back for 13 shows, little bit raise, and then in the 3rd year they put me under contract. And then from there on in, you know the rest of the story. My career took off.
At what point did, working the show, did you understand the impact it was having on the country? I mean, sometimes you get inside that bubble.
Yeah, what happens, like newspapers and critics and reviewers would do the analogy that it was comparable to the Vietnam War, which the producers, writers, directors, and some of the cast did. That was the parallel to the show. As I said, I was hired to play Klinger. I never got into any kind of the politics of the show or anything else. Yeah, make sure the check cleared every week. I had food on the table. My rent was paid. You tell me. I was like Boris Karloff. If I have to play Frankenstein, let me play Frankenstein. Get my check. I don't care. Yeah, where do I say?
That show. Talk about this golf tournament enduring. That show endured.
Well, it was at the end of that show, when I knew we were going out of production, that I took up the game of golf. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe I had to go back to St. Jude again, say, what's the rest of my life going to be? And so I picked up the game, figuring that it would be time consuming. I didn't know what other movies or TV things that I would have. And that's when Judd Silverman went to Don Michael, my buddy from our childhood days, who had been very successful as a businessman, and said, if you can get Jamie's name on this, I think we can make this as a stop. And if you donate money, and seed the tournament, and we'll find sponsors and that. So I said, sure. I played in the Dinah Shore. I loved it, and I'd be happy to put my name on it.
So it's not hyperbole, at least in my estimation, to say that Toledo synonymous with glass, the Mud Hens, certainly Jamie Farr, but also your golf tournament.
Well, actually, the Mud Hens, there were the 2 writers that grew up in one of the cities there. The Mud Hens played the team, okay? So they thought, gee, Klinger's this odd character. The Mud Hens definitely has to be his favorite baseball team, So they started incorporating that. And then Gene Cook, who watched the show, who had been the general manager, started sending us things to wear, on the show, and they all loved it. They thought it was great. And then I accidentally threw in Tony Pacos in a show that we were ad-libbing and then from that took off. So.
And people learned all about the culture that is Toledo, Ohio. Also, Jamie, when you came back this week, you went out to the library. I know you have a great affection for golf, but also the Lucas County Public Library.
Yeah, went over there.
You enjoy Penn.
Yeah.
Quickly, if you could.
Okay, very quickly. We came up with this idea for a book. I had an imaginary camel on MASH called Habibi, which means sweetheart in Arabic. And we said, what if Habibi married a woman camel named Habiba? And they had a baby called Habibi. So we came up with this idea. I found an artist to do it, and we did a little story about how the 3 camels that brought the wise men to the manger were all relatives of this particular camel. And then jokingly at the library today, I said, they were saying, what kind of books do you like to read? And so I said, hey, do you have my book? I couldn't believe it. They pulled out that book. They have it. It wasn't a bad seller. I have 2,000 more copies in my garage if you would like.
All right, check it out, though. It is at the library.
Yeah, thank you.
Jamie Farr, congratulations on another tremendous golf tournament and an amazing career, really.
Well, it's not over yet, Lee. I still got, it may be the last romance, but it's not the last part.
The last romance starts in January.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And many more after
All
that.
right, thank you.
Best of luck to you. Enjoy down the road.
Appreciate
Thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure. You know that.
All right, we're back in just a minute. Take 3, special edition, right after this.